What's going on, you mother fathers? It's me and John Golt. We are here to talk Thursday Night Football. We got takes. Some of them are hot. Some of them are just medium. Some of them are just lukewarm. So here we go. Feel free to get your questions in there. We're here to answer them. We are here for you. So, ask anything you want. I'll answer anything about football. All right, John, go ahead. We were just talking a little bit of news beforehand. Tell me that kicker thing. I found what you were saying about the kickers very interesting.
Yeah, so it's likely that Prater's going to be out for Arizona. They activated signed Rodrigo Blankenship, but he is not in the player pool. So it's more than likely that Arizona will not have a kicker in the player pool. They will still score points with their kicker. They just won't score any DraftKings points with a kicker. So don't play Prater most likely. If you obviously monitor that, but they still his report was that he was going to try to warm up during pregame, but that would have been the first time he's kicked in however fucking long. So and they activated another kicker. You don't carry two kickers unless one's not going to fucking play. So I'd assume Prater's probably going to be inactive. But monitor that as we go up. But yeah, if he's inactive, I assume Will Lutz will get steamed to absolute insanity because people love to play kickers in Showdown, and if there's only one available kicker in Showdown because Prater's not going to be playing and Blankenship's not in the pool, people are going to click Lutz at an obscenely high rate. So I think fading Lutz is probably almost mandatory.
Are we talking 40? Are we talking 40%? You think?
Right now, I have him at only 25, and I'm going to guess by the time everything gets settled, 40 is probably pretty realistic.
When you see 25 there, that's not counting the Prater news though, right?
Let's see. I think I have Prater. Yeah, I have Prater still projected for 13. So you could almost just add that ownership, right? Just assume everyone that put Prater in their lineups earlier will literally just flip it to Lutz.
40%. Someone called it. All right.
Yeah.
So, all right. That's a good piece of news. So right there. That's straight from John Gold, JD's Game Theory 101. If Prater's out, naturally people are just going to go over to the other kicker because people love themselves at least one kicker in the lineup. Will Lutz at 40%. There's not a chance in fucking hell he is 40% likely to be in the optimal. That is a terrible leverage play. If you're playing a certain game script where he fits in there, I guess you could still play that, but just know that one spot you're giving up a ton of leverage. That's what that would be my take on it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably not going to just X him from my pool, but if my projection is that he's going to come in at 40%, then I may play 10% in my 150 set if I play 150. I'm not sure if I'm even playing 150 tonight.
Okay. I'm going to lead where we're going with the next one because I think this is, other than that kicker thing probably being the most relevant, I think the other most important one is this DeAndre Hopkins here. He's coming back from the 6-game suspension, right? And I keep seeing, I've had at least 3 different people send me the DeAndre Hopkins video today. What the fuck was it? Don't call it a comeback. And people are I'm all in now. It's guys, this dude's dust. I mean, he's old. He didn't have a great season last year. He's going to be coming back. I feel what ownership do you have him at? Because if he's over 40%, I just feel that is horrific.
36.5.
Okay.
So what's interesting about D-Hop, when you say he's old and dusty, right, is the best time to play an old dusty player is after they've not had to play football for a long time.
Right. Well, he still has those PEDs in his system, right?
Or presumably why he hasn't been beat to shit, why he's still as healthy as he's going to be, as fresh legs as he's going to be.
That's a really good argument. And you can't even say, well, what about the timing and the chemistry? I'm pretty sure him and Murray's chemistry is going to be just fine, assuming he gets the full allotment of run, right?
Yeah, and he's been able to be back with the facility since October or something, and he's been able to practice for the last 2 or 3 weeks. So, presumably he's been getting reps with Tyler, and
Hey, he had to shoot that footage for that cheesy ass video somewhere.
To this fucking bat cave where he's got all these TVs set up, watching clips of Snoop Dogg and shit. I'm how is that making you better at football? I don't understand.
It's I saw the Dark Knight too. I'm pretty sure that shit's illegal, D-Hop, but whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, I think D-Hop's actually a pretty decent play, especially because Lattimore's out on the other side for the Saints. And so Saints have been pretty successful against just a decently successful defense. I guess less so this season, but historically a pretty good defense. And Lattimore has been pretty good against ones, but with Lattimore out, I actually think D-Hop has a pretty decent chance of success.
Now, if you're playing D-Hop in a lineup, presumably you're going to probably play him with Murray. If you're playing D-Hop, does that make you way less interested in AJ Green and Zach Ertz?
Definitely AJ Green because they'll play a somewhat similar role. Although AJ Green's ADOT's pretty shitty this season, but I think they both at least like will play outside. Rondell Moore's pretty interesting because he'll play the slot, and Ertz is also similarly interesting. Like because he just gets a lot of targets, check down middle of the field targets. So I don't mind playing Ertz and Hop together. I probably don't want to play AJ Green and Hop together. I probably don't want to play AJ Green fucking generally. Yeah.
And what about Robbie Anderson, just while we're talking about these receivers?
Yeah, so Robbie Anderson's pretty interesting because you would assume, and I think most of the field will assume that he's not going to get any run because he just got traded over here. Mm-hmm. But like Robbie has never been like a clean
5,600 ain't cheap, brother. Like I mean, they put a price tag on him. They with a new guy, could have made him 2,200, I think.
Yeah, but Robbie's like generally a stupid human, and so like Robbie's thing is run fast and straight, Robbie, and then like catch the ball when it comes to you. And so like he could do that anywhere. So I actually don't mind playing Robbie. They said, like, what I write down, they said the tweet I saw said he was going to get 10 to 15% of plays, but they actually had plays for him. They had a set number of plays for him. So, like,
man, 10 to 15% is garbage. That's like 6 to 10 plays if they run 60 plays.
Yeah, but then that means if they have 4 targets, like, designed for him, like, 2 of those are down the field. I mean, I don't know. I'm willing to take a shot on Robbie catching a burner like he did week 1. Right. And was
but how many lineups are you doing, Bob?
Oh, yeah. If I was playing one, I wouldn't do it. Yeah. I'm talking about if I play one.
I think you would need to be playing at minimum 20 to even consider him in your pool.
Yeah, that's probably fair. If I was doing 3 max, I wouldn't play him in my pool.
All right. Any other big news? So if you don't know, Marquise Brown's out. Both of the big Landry and Thomas are both out for the Saints. So that makes me like Olave. Are you worried about Olave coming back from the concussion at all?
Nah, it's just a brain injury. No one gives a fuck about those.
Those are the easiest ones to recover from, I hear. Because if you hurt it bad enough, you don't even feel the pain. It's incredible.
Yeah. Plus, it's not like you hurt an ankle or anything that he really needs to play football. Amen. No, I don't really like Olave unrelated to the concussion, though. I don't like Olave because Arizona's been pretty good against ones, like actually really good against ones. And so and Andy Dalton's like old and dusty, even more so than fucking AJ Green. And so I'm probably okay fading Olave because I think he's going to get pretty steamed as well. I've got him at 38 or 35%.
If you're about to say to play Marquez Callaway or Traquan Smith, I'm fucking ending this show right now.
No, I think if I'm playing anyone from the Saints, it's going to be Kamara captain, Taysom Hill captain, if I'm playing him anywhere. And then that's about it.
So you're much
and I'll play maybe a little bit of Lutz just because he's like decent value over
What's your favorite game script for tonight?
I think Arizona can score points and rolls.
My favorite one for tonight is both these offenses are fucking broken and no one can fix them. Give me 12-9.
That's fair. That's pretty likely. In which case, you better play Lutz.
Yeah, Lutz is the nuts now. Give me Lutz and 2 defenses.
In all seriousness, I could see Arizona winning like a low-scoring 17-10 type game. That's reasonable. I think Arizona has a little more success than that. I think Arizona can score in like the mid-20s, and I don't know. I'm not sure.
Wait, James Conner's questionable? I thought his ass was out for sure.
So that was the other piece on my news here. So back to no cards, my man. No cards here for our show. I have one other point I need to, my note card here. Speaking of, Conner is questionable. He's game time decision. They said, I'm guessing he'll be out. I've projected him out. So I think Eno gets like his same workhorse role he got last week. And so I don't remember if this was something we were talking about on pre-show or if I've already said it on this show. So sorry if I'm repeating myself. But Eno got a legit workhorse role last week, like legitimately one of the best roles in the NFL. His stat line doesn't show it, and like he only scored 9.5 points or whatever it was. But he was out there for 80% plus of the work, and he's going to presumably step right back into that role if Conner is out. So I think Eno's a pretty good play here.
He offers a good ceiling and a tremendous floor.
Yeah, exactly. And especially if you don't think there's a lot of points to be scored, like his PPR points and getting like 5 or 4 targets is super valuable. And then also really behind him.
Go ahead.
Sorry?
No, go ahead.
Ingram is behind him at $400. I wish his name was Keaton Ingram, but I think it's like, what is it? Caton Ingram or something?
Yeah, I already saw a question about him in the chat. Keontre, isn't it?
I don't know.
Where the fuck are you at, Ingram? $400, right?
Yeah, he's $400.
Yeah. Keontae. Excuse me. I'm putting an extra R in there. An extra R. I'm just putting an R in there. Keontae.
But he got he was in the field for about 20% of the work last week and got 8 carries, I think. 12% or something of the carries. No, 12%. He was out for 12% of the snaps. I think he was out there for 8 plays. Anyways, his role could possibly grow, and he's a way just to get different at $400. So in terms of punt flyers, he's pretty available.
All right. Any other news on your note card there you need to talk about before we go to questions?
Let's see. Oh, well, not necessarily related to this slate, but related to our kickers we were talking about. I did ask Cody. I'm waiting for a response, but it is inapplicable this slate, so we are good about the reference to playing kickers with or without the defense or opposing defense.
Let's go answer some questions. Aaron says, "Cheers, cheers to you, you motherfather."
What's up, Aaron? Aaron finally didn't win a slate.
It hurt his ego. He's only batting 500 the past 2 weeks. Kim says, "Let's go, Kim."
What's up, Kim?
Nick says, "What do we do with Taysom?" All right.
Yeah, that's a really good question.
We talked about this beforehand, Nick, and I had a smoking hot take that John agreed with, so I'm going to repeat it before he steals my thunder. So, what do we do with Taysom? I said, if you play Taysom, you only play him as the captain, because I think Taysom either completely gets there or just completely shits the bed. I don't think he's a very viable flex play, because I don't see a lot of places where he's just going to get 13 points. He's either going to break the slate and go have his 28-point dickhead game, or he's going to have 1.6 and not do anything and completely kill you at whatever he is, 7,000 or whatever, right? So that's where I'm at with Taysom. You play him as a captain or you don't play him at all. Play him in the flex, I think, is a very bad play.
Yeah, that's exactly how I'm playing Taysom. I actually borderline hate playing him at all. I think he's a pretty bad play, honestly, at his price tag and whatever. But his ownership at the captain is going to be, what do I have, 1%? 1% at the captain. So I think he probably breaks the slate more than 1 in 100 times. So I'm willing to play him at captain. We saw him break the main slate. Well, no one owned him at captain, no one owned him at quarterback on main slate. But he would have broke the slate had anyone actually fucking played him, because he was in the technical optimal. So I think you have to play some Taysom if you're playing more than a few lineups. But I probably, like D-Gen said, only do it at the captain spot. All
right, next question. Tragic Natural says, "Hello, degenerates. Hello, sir." Neil says, "D-Gen Army. Let's do it. I'd like to see some D-Gen Army at the top of some leaderboards." Kim says, "Okay, first question. If you're playing Taysom Hill, you're treating him like a running back, right? Would you avoid no wideouts in a build with Hill?" Well, see, and I stole the last Taysom Hill question. I'm going to let you have this one, John.
No, I don't think so. I think a decent amount of his ceiling comes from being a quarterback. So I think I would be fine with wideouts. The limiter I might do would be limiting with Kamara. They're both they're both very expensive, and I think they monopolize a little bit of their roles. If we think he's in that wildcat quarterback role where he's either going to be throwing a short dump off to somebody that historically hasn't been Kamara. We looked it up before the show. He's never thrown a touchdown to Kamara. There was one that was called back.
So it didn't count. It doesn't count. He's never done it.
You could have tight end to tight end. You could see him throw a touchdown to Juwan Johnson or one of the other wideouts we've talked about. Olave already has the most end zone targets on this team, so you could see Olave get an end zone target. So I think I like playing him with wideouts. I think those two can work together. I don't necessarily like playing him with Kamara.
All right, next question. Neil says, "Slam Taysom 100%. Well, I'll give you this. If you're playing one lineup, I will allow that. If you're playing more than one lineup, I don't know if I'd go 100%.
It's bold. We were talking about before the show, though. He legitimately might have the highest ceiling of anyone on the slate besides Kyler. I understand it's you can't really project it that way, but we just saw him put up 37 or whatever. So his ceiling is insane. I wouldn't go 100% on him unless, like you said, you're playing one lineup, but I'm never one to shy away from being aggressive.
All right, Brett says, "Everyone, let's go. Let's go." A lot of let's goes today. They're pumped. We need to. Wait, was that last Thursday that everybody kept fucking hitting all the huge, just absolutely? I don't know,
but we just got a fuck counter on there.
I know. Oh, do you need? Hold on, I might have the fuck counter. Let me see. What I got to do.
I don't know.
Wait, where's it at? Oh shit! I think I got to.
Or is this?
I think I got to turn it on.
Is this a Discord possibly?
Did you hear the bell ring? Did you hear the bell ring?
Dude, I watched the whole show. It was cool.
Okay. I just did it right now, but he doesn't have the little
thing.
Oh, no,
I didn't hear it just now.
Oh, shit. Can you hear this?
I can't.
Oh, fuck. All right. That sucks. All right. I just did the donkey there. Because if you're playing Taysom Hill in 100% of your lineups, you're a donkey. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't mean that. It sucks y'all can't hear that. Maybe they could hear it in the chat. Could y'all hear the donkey in the chat? That'd make me feel a lot better.
So real quick, Brian asked about Ingram again, Keontae, or what do we look? Keontae. I think he's fine as a flyer. I mean, he's not getting like a ton of work, but at $400, you don't need him to get a ton of work. So
yeah, you're talking about the Keontae Ingram that Brian asked about. Yes. It doesn't need to do much. He falls in the end zone. By the way, I just learned the donkey's turned off because it was creating an echo from John. Some have said it's because he's the real donkey. Okay, here we go. Nick, why is it always cold in John's house? Feels like he's always bundled up. He lives, he lives up in the frozen tundra of North Carolina. What do you want from the man? It's frigid there.
So the real answer is that my office, I work like 10 minutes from here up the road, and my office is legitimately like 60 degrees all the time. So I pretty much live in these things, and then I come home and just keep it on.
Plus, can I ask this question? What says upper middle class lawyer more than a nice pullover? Tell me that. Tell me that. That just screams.
I do love pullover season.
I love me too. I got so many pullovers. I'm a pullover whore. Yeah. I get it. How would we build a single entry lineup with under 2K people? That's a good question, because I think there's a lot. When I enter a contest, a showdown contest with less than 5,000 people, I get a lot less punty. Like at most I'm punting at one of my positions, and a lot of times it's not even a true punt. It might be like a AJ Green type punt, which, is kind of like going to be a lower, not even that low owned, but a lower priced guy, but he's not like a true punt. A true punt would be like frickin' Greg Dortch.
Keontae Ingram.
Yeah, Ingram. Those are real punts. And when I'm playing in contests like that, all you got to do is start adding up your product ownership, right? Multiply what the projected ownership for all those players are, and you're going to get a number that's probably like 0.003 or something like that. Go multiply that times the number of entries in it, and that'll give you a pretty good idea of how likely that a lineup is to be duped. And you'll find that like in a 5,000 person field, it is pretty hard to get a duped lineup if you're not just playing like the six most obvious guys.
Yeah, I think that's like a pretty fair point, is you don't need to necessarily pivot off of like your preferred construction and your preferred few players. Like you do need to have some unique pieces still, because even in 2,000 people, you could still get duped like playing a like pretty consistent construction. Like we talked about the other night, I think it was wide receiver, captain, quarterback, plus quarterback from the other side, cheap pass catcher, and then like both kickers or whatever. Like that lineup's going to be duped a lot. Over
65% of lineups tonight will be a 3-3 build or a 4-2 Cardinals build. So if you just don't do those two, just those two alone, you think will be over 65%?
I would guess 3-3s are going to be like 40% of all builds, and then
the 4-2 will probably be about 30%.
25, 30, and then 4-2 the other way. I think 4-2s generally and 2-5s will make up like 90+%.
Yeah, but I'm not talking. But I'm talking specifically just those two. Just the 3-3.
I know, that's why I was trying to X out how many 4-2s from the other way are there really going to be? Like maybe only 20%. So I'm guessing 70% between the 3-3s and 4-2s the other way.
There you go. So if you want a way to just be different, just be cognizant of that. Just don't build a 3-3 or a 4-2 Saints build, a 4-2 Cardinals build as they're the favorite, and that there will get you different than 70% of the lineups minimum.
But also, I think the best build is a 4-2 cards build.
There it is. or how about this? If you really love a 4-2 cards build, maybe a 5-1 cards build.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I actually think there's like a decent chance the Cards could roll tonight. So I don't mind doing a 5-1, especially because Kamara can be like the whole offense for the Saints.
I agree with that. Kamara would be my one run back. You know who it wouldn't be?
Awesome.
Marquez Callaway. That guy fucking sucks. Okay, Chris says.
It definitely wouldn't be Lutz for me. You can't just play Lutz, I don't think.
Chris says, I meant to ask Monday, but when you talk about ownership, is it strictly for DK or does it include FanDuel as well? So no. This rule is almost universal, Chris, and I need to touch on this because I've talked about it at golf and I need to say this point more often. FanDuel has they have a stupid ass system. If you don't know, they don't have a captain mode over there, so it's just straight. You pick 5 players. It's also 5 players instead of 6. So this rule is almost universal at golf and at football. Whoever is chalky on DraftKings ends up almost always being even more chalky over on FanDuel, because people a lot of times will go make their DraftKings lineups and then they like, hey, I'm going to go play this guy, and they get over to FanDuel, and FanDuel notoriously has softer pricing. So almost any lineup you can make on DraftKings, you can go make on FanDuel. So they just go make the same lineup over there, and then these guys, instead of being 40% on DraftKings, they'll be 60% on FanDuel. Rory is 30% owned this week at golf. I bet he's 55% over there on FanDuel this week. And so if you know that, I know we never talk about FanDuel and we treat it like a bastard child around here, but if you just know that one rule and know it's applicable almost all of the time, unless there's some really huge disparity in pricing, it almost always holds true.
Yep, 100%.
There we go. I stole both our talking time there. Okay. Tragic Natural. Hopkins at captain. What's next?
I think you better put Murray in that lineup.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see how you play Hopkins and don't play Murray, at least in the flex there. I came into tonight thinking, fuck Hopkins, I don't want nothing to do with him. And then literally John's intro, I'm like, you know what? I need Hopkins tonight.
Man, if he's ever going to smash, I think tonight's the night to do it. I don't know. If he's got a game left in him, I think he puts his balls on the table tonight.
Well, I've got a my $500 best ball lineup that I did on Underdog. It has been waiting for this guy to get back, so I need him to produce because I'm sitting right there in third place right now. So I'm third place with no Hopkins all year, so that's a pretty good start. Is Olave going to get steamed up where we think about fading or pivoting? Go ahead, John. I already see you shaking your head.
Yeah, I feel like I've already got him at 35%, and I think once people have to start redoing their lineups because they had Prater in and now they realize they can't, I could see him getting some more ownership.
Hey, let me finish that question though, John, because I cut the question off and I think that it might change your answer. Should we fade him and consider pivoting to Callaway, Smith, or Johnson?
So I'd never am against fading a high ownership guy to pivot to a low ownership guy. My favorite of those is probably Juwan Johnson.
Amen.
But what do I have his ownership at? 19%.
That's reasonable. I'm telling you, that's reasonable. Juwan Johnson's a play tonight at 19%. He is a play.
I wonder if that seems low for him, because I do think $3,000 tight end seems popular.
Just degenerate 75 guesstimating, I would have thought 30 minimum. I mean, if that price tag with that ability in his spot with Troutman out, he gets red zone targets. He's kind of everything you want.
I think the reason that you're seeing some depressed ownership on at least the mid-tier guys is that people want to put in both Kyler, Kamara, and D, or all three of Kyler, Kamara, and D-Hop, I think. And so you have no salary left.
Hey, what do you have the ownership on for fuckhead, the quarterback, Andy Dalton? Andy Dalton. Yeah, Kyler Murray's not a fuckhead. He's a boomer fucking Sooner.
Flex 38 and captain 6. I'm not sure I can play anywhere near those numbers. I'm not playing any captain.
If he were going to be 30%, you should almost always take a quarterback that's under 30%. That's a good rule, I think. By the way, trivia question in the chat. $5. No, because y'all will fucking cheat. All right, John, $5 lineup. If you can tell me, where did Andy Dalton go to college?
Oh, I have literally no idea. Probably some shitbox second-tier school like Miami, Ohio.
Well, I mean, if we're talking shithole secondary schools, wouldn't that be University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill?
Oh!
I heard him there. No, the correct answer. Anybody in the chat know before I give it away? All right. Do we know if Dalton or Winston is starting? I mean, I didn't even know Winston was a possibility.
No, Winston's the third string. He's going to be the third string backup. So he's active, but he'll be the third string backup. Dalton's playing. Straight
from the man himself. By the way, 1, 2, 3, 4 people nailed it down here with the TCU. It was TCU. Texas Christian. He's a horned frog. Look at that. Okay, I heard earlier Dalton, but I haven't confirmed. We have now confirmed that. Steven Tucker says, I've seen...
I'm like, this is 95%. This is what I was reading on the stupid, interwebs earlier. According to Twitter, that's what's happening. So, it's usually right, but...
All right. I've seen that both are banged up, but the head coach wasn't sure which one would start. I think he's referencing that. What do you think of Olave at captain? Mr. Pentrini wants to know that, John.
I don't particularly love Olave, but so I guess if Discord guys, you'll see Sims are down, Run the Sims is down. They're not able to run for some reason this slate. I don't know if it's because like the kickers are out or so many people are out. I don't know what the fuck's going on because other Showdown slates are working fine. So it's not their simulator itself, but just that Showdown slate isn't working. So yeah, I just tried it again a second ago too. Like you can change inputs, you can do whatever, but you can't actually get sim results. So I was like, I really wanted to, like, normally I would have already run like 5 or 6 or 7, different variations with, 10 different sims each or whatever. And I would have started to try to get a feel of like what type of lineups are frequently appearing. But I like, otherwise, like my gut is I don't want to play Olave captain. So I won't be.
Thoughts on Taysom Hill?
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about before, I think he's like a pretty boom bust. So I think his range of outcomes are like extremely bimodal, like in that, like they look like this, right? So you have a lot of range of outcomes in the 0 to 3 range, and then you have a lot of range of outcomes in the 20 plus range, but you don't have a lot of shit in between there. And so like you have that distribution that I think sets up for like pretty much only playing at the captain. So that's how I would be handling it.
Nick says, DJ, you good? Just lay back in the chair chilling? It's been a long fucking day, Nick. I got so much shit going on, man. It was a struggle to make it here for this. No way you can play Taysom and Dalton, right? I mean, I'll let you answer that, John. I guess in the big milli maker, that might be like a crazy contrarian play that could come through that nobody would play. But, like, I think I know the kind of tournaments you're playing in, a lot of single entry and stuff like that. I don't think that's a great strategy for those tournaments.
So my main concern with that, I guess, like if you think Taysom plays a true tight end role with Trotman out, then possibly like that's somewhat viable. But I think more than likely he takes quarterback snaps, especially high value quarterback snaps, away from Andy Dalton, like inside the 10 or whatever. Those kind of snaps I see is when Taysom gets substituted in for like their Wildcat or whatever formation they run with Taysom. So I think they're probably pretty negatively, unless you think he plays like a true tight end role, which I don't necessarily think he does.
Neil says, is there any real way Dalton can get there as a captain? Is he better as a flex and a target Olave and Kamara for the Saints in a 24-10 game script? That's a really good point.
I don't think you can play Dalton captain. It'd be really hard for him to get there. Like he's just not throwing. He'd have to throw a couple touchdowns, 3 touchdowns or whatever to 2 or 3 different people, and I don't see that happening. Yeah. If you do play him as captain, you better play at least 2 pass catchers, probably 3.
And plus, once they get down inside the 10, there's a decent chance they're going to be running the ball in for a touchdown. There's a chance they just bring in Taysom Hill and they run their wildcat shit. It just really kills, as John just called it, like his high value snaps, right? Like not all snaps are equal. When a quarterback's inside the 10-yard line, those snaps are so much more likely to produce game-changing points for your players than just a random snap from the -40, right? So those being on the field and having the ball in your hands in those situations leads to points.
And plus, in that situation, I'd just rather play Kamara captain if you think Kamara gets like the usage, because his usage with Dalton has been pretty unreal.
That's why I like Benjamin so much tonight. Not so much because he's so efficient, but he just follows rule number 1 of fantasy football. You have to be on the field to score points. That's a rule I've learned over the years. People want to always play these guys that are so perfectly efficient, right? Like a J.D. McKissick type, right? And every once in a while, you hit him just right, and he takes his 8 snaps and he gets you 24 points. But I would rather just have the guy that's going to be on the field for 58 plays as opposed to 8, and then you don't need perfect efficiency out of them for them to get there. And I'm pretty sure is going to play at least 50 snaps tonight. All right, no donkey sound. Sorry, guys. The editor had to mute it. I'm buying one of those little beep boop things so I can just start doing it here and not have to use the keypad. Brett says, thoughts on Rondell Moore? Seems like he's getting a little more usage each week, but now Hopkins and Robbie are there. I'll tell you this. I don't know if Hopkins or Robbie affects Rondell's role. I feel like he is clearly a little slot guy that could go catch 10 passes for 26 yards. That seems like a real stat line for him. So, and by the way, that's 12.6 points. If he gets a touchdown, you're dancing in the streets naked.
I like Rondell a lot this week. I think with Hopkins getting steamed, he'll go as an afterthought. He's a lot cheaper. He's going to get there on volume if he gets there, like you said.
And he's explosive enough to just he's explosive enough to take a 3-yard pass to the house.
Definitely. Yeah, I like Rondell.
All right, show you style. I'm full fade on New Orleans QBs and Taysom. Am I a donkey too?
No, dude, that's probably what I'm going to do in 95% of my lineups.
So Shuggy, just to answer his question a little bit more accurately, yes, you are a donkey, but not because of this decision. All right. Kim, Shuggy Stout. So you're playing Kamara then? Better be.
I think that's exactly right.
He better be. Nick, Dortch was everyone's darling for a while back. Now no one's playing him anymore. Well, that was due to injuries, Nick. Like, Dortch was just getting pumped up because I think Rondell was out during that time, and Dortch kind of takes over that slot role whenever he's out. But now that Rondell's back, he literally gets 90% of the slot work. So that's basically made Dortch a non-factor. I mean, like, does he even return kicks anymore?
He probably does return their kicks. He's just small. He's the same exact player as Rondell, and they just like Rondell more. So Rondell more. So yeah.
All right, I think this was asked in the Discord, but who is this Dulcich tonight? Oh, see, this is what we did wrong, John. We fucking spiked. We told everybody the nuts one time. Now they expect it every time. Yeah, that is a fun question. Who is the Dulcich tonight? Who is the one guy that if you nail him, it basically like one play from that guy wins the entire slate for you? Because that's all Dulcich did. He just had that big touchdown. He had like one other catch?
Yeah, he ended up with 12 points. He had 44 yards and a touchdown. He had 12 points, something points, I think. He had 2 catches, I think. Okay, so down cheap, there's not a lot of like true cheapy flyers. A guy that I actually loved preseason and like I'm still going to take flyers on today. And do you remember who I loved preseason that's down there cheap?
Wait, from one of these teams?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I think I was always making you take him in best ball. My boy, Trey McBride.
Just going to hold on hope, right? 75% of your best ball lineups are praying that he gets there.
So I'll still spend some more money on Trey McBride. I mean, the dude is a unreal talent. He's a rookie, so rookie tight ends don't have great track records like we talked about with Dulcich. But the dude's like obscene. So talent-wise, at least he's off the charts. So I don't mind taking shots
talented,
on
he can't
him.
even get on the field ahead of Zach Ertz. So talented.
Well, they're paying Zach Ertz a lot of fucking money, so
All right, Tragic Natural. Is there any script where Dalton and Hill get there, or is it just getting too different?
That's what we just talked about with them. I think they just monopolize their ceiling. So I mean, they can get there together. Like if Hill catches a pass, like he's just a traditional tight end. Breaks out, runs a 3-yard route, and catches a touchdown, fine. But I think like we talked about that Dalton comes off the field when Hill gets like high value touches inside the 10 or 15 or whatever. So I don't love playing them together, but it's not impossible.
Nick says Spieth just missed a 4-inch putt. Okay, back to the games. Our defense is viable. So first of all, I swear to God, Nick, the only chalk I ate this week was Jordan Spieth. So that's why he's missing 4-inch putts. Fuck that guy. All right, our defense is viable. I think they're very viable.
Yeah, I prefer the Cards defense over the Saints defense. The Saints are pretty banged up, but also Cardinals are without 2 linemen, so Kyler can be under a little more pressure tonight. So I don't mind either defense. I probably prefer the Cards defense though.
All right. Aaron said that Dalton went to Katy High School. Fun fact. Okay, Nick. Okay, thank God. Thought it was non-tech ass doing it wrong on Run the Sims. Yeah, no, it's. I would have thought the same thing, Nick. I would have been opening it in different browsers. I would have been trying like Safari and. I
tried so much shit before I texted you to ask if it was broken for you.
Yeah.
And then you were like, yeah, it's broken. I was like, well, fuck. I'm glad I just wasted all that time.
I honestly thought it was just.
They're doing updates right now. Actually, I just got an update that says they're making updates to their Sims. So maybe we can get Sims out here. Guys, I'm probably only going to do one. I'm going to update the script. So if you want to shoot in the chat, whatever was like the most popular, I've got a few things I got to do and I still got to build my own lineups, but I will run a Sim. And then if we get any news, we'll just have to talk in chat, like how that works. But so if you want to see like a certain Sim, let me know. And if there's like a popular script out there, I'll adjust. Otherwise, I'll probably just adjust usage like we talked about, like to kind of more accurately reflect what as like true usage. And then I will just run it with the standard over under that Vegas has.
Okay. Kim says Kamara at captain at Kim Gold. Oh, he's talking to somebody else. All right, McBride. There we go.
He was responding on the fading Taysom and fading Dalton lineups, and I think that makes a ton of sense.
All right, we're going to answer these last 2 questions because my piece of shit day continues right now as I'm getting blown the fuck up on my phone. I got to go put out more fucking fires. Neil Kelly, are DK really going in with Arizona kicker on the slate? Wait, I just skipped. Sorry, I skipped this question. Tragic Natural, I apologize. Clement activated today. Is there any value there?
Yeah, I think I've got him projected for less than 1 point. I don't necessarily know what his role is. It's so hard to figure out what people's roles are when they're like coming into these or being activated up.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess like maybe I guess to me that would tell me James Conner's almost assuredly not playing. And so I guess like maybe he's there to back up Ingram, I guess. Like, but I would assume he probably doesn't get on the field. I've got him projected for like 0.1 points.
All right. Is DK really going with no Arizona kicker on the slate? Prater is out. Yeah, we talked about that earlier, Neil. Assuming that Prater is officially announced out, which we still got to wait, another hour and a half before we hear that?
Well, he just said ESPN announced it. So I mean, I haven't seen the tweet, but he said according to ESPN, he's out.
Right. No Arizona. Oh, Prater is out. Oh, I got to finish reading the fucking sentence. Isn't that a novel concept? Okay, Zach, what do we think about Eno and Rondell together?
So, hey, I'm backing up to answer that question. Yeah, they are really going to go no with Arizona's kicker on the slate. They can't add a player this late to the slate. You see it in golf. The guys that get late added the day of and shit, they just don't add to the pool. They'll do it like 24 hours in advance. But the reason is they don't want people that have already built lineups to feel like they're getting a disadvantage by players getting late added to the pool. So they usually, or as far as I've seen, they've never added players to the pool this late.
All right. So last question: Eno and Rondell, do they work together, John?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, like they're like have some of the same like short target dump off work, but I mean they very different. Like Rondell's cheap enough to work with almost anyone, and Eno's too cheap for his role if he's going to have the same role he had last week. So yeah, I'm down for both of them together. I've got plenty of lineups with them together.
All right, guys, I think that's it. I apologize. I got to go do some shit. If you have questions, I'll probably be back before kickoff to help you out. Same when, John's going to be cooking. His name is Ratatouille. So he's going to
I'll still be on my phone, y'all. I'll be on my phone. Shoot me Discord messages.
All right, guys. I think that's it. We'll talk to you next time. Later, motherfathers, and good luck tonight.